Hello, doers, and welcome to this talk. I am Andre, I'm a business analyst here at Odoo, and today I am going to talk about how to manage your project profitability directly in Odoo. Here is a QR code that you can scan in order to ask your questions. It will redirect you to a pad. You can write down all the questions that you might have that are related to this talk or to any other question about project profitability. And we are going to answer all of them at the end of the presentation. I'm going to leave you some more time to scan it, just in case. And I hope you all had the time to do it. So, as I said, today we are going to see how to keep track of your profitability. But what do we need exactly to keep track of our profitability when we manage projects or services companies? Well, the most important, of course, is to be able to track the benefits linked to our sales, but then we also need to be able to manage all our costs. So the costs on the materials, the costs on the time spent, the eventual expenses, and also all the after-sales management. And it's always very interesting to also be able to make budgets in order to anticipate what we want to achieve with our sale. I hope you're ready to deep dive in it with me. I will now go into my database, and in order to give you a little bit of context, we are working here at Star Platinum, which is a company who offers a very real service of office renovation. So a client of ours contacted us lately because they wanted to renovate a new office. They just bought a new place in Brussels and they need stuff like, for example, desks, but also chairs because it's not comfortable to work standing. And we also need to renovate a bit the place. So we will start by making a quotation for them. Our client here is Purple Haze. And in this case, we already have a quotation template, the office renovation quotation template right here, which will allow us to already have our quotation ready. We can confirm our quotation and boom, as per magic, we now have a project button, a task button, recorded hours button, and also a delivery that have been created. Let's go to our project first. As you can see here, we are in the settings of our project. We can allocate some time, for example. We can also plan our dates at which we are going to be working. Okay. And the most important stuff that I need to show you on this page is actually right here on the Analytic tab, and it's the fact that we are linked to the project S001 Purple Haze, which is basically our analytic plan. And so everything that we will see from now on, as you will notice, will be linked to that analytic plan. But enough chit-chat, let's go into our project. As you can see right here, we already have a lot of tasks, and we have this brand new button. A lot of you might have noticed it already because either you were there at my previous talk or you watched the keynote of Fabien. This button here actually allows us to select a lot of models that can be linked to our project. In this case, we are going to start by the dashboard. The dashboard is where you will be able to see everything that is linked to the profitability of your project, be it the costs or the revenues or even the budgets. Here, we are going to start by creating a project update, a project status, basically. In order to say that we just started right now, first project update, we just started working on this. We can't wait. Yoo-hoo. We are all super happy to start working for Purple Haze, and we can now go back to our dashboard. And as you can see, we now have this project update, and if I click on it, basically, it takes all the information that I already have right here in my dashboard. This is super practical because day after day, month after month, we will be able to track all the evolution that we had on our project. The second most important thing to do right at the beginning of our project is actually to create a budget, because we might want to anticipate the benefits that we are expecting from our project. In this case, I am going right here to the budget tab, and I am going to click add budget, create my new budget that I will call Purple Haze, like my client, and we are going to put a period right here. And here, as you can see, we have multiple types of budgets. We can either track our revenues or our expenses, or what I prefer to do is to track both of them. So basically the way it works is that if I select only revenue, of course, it will only be affected by my revenues, same for expenses. And here, for both, if I add a new line to my project, and I expect, let's say, 20,000 euros right here, the way it will work is that it will expect to have a difference between my incomes and my expenses of at least 20,000 euros. So I can save this, and as you can see, for now, our budget right here is bright red and super negative. Why is that? Because, as I said, the budget calculates the difference between the revenues and the costs, and for now, we have not invoiced anything, and so even though we don't have any cost, it is telling us that we are still missing 20,000 euros to reach our goal. So what can we do in order to reach our target? Well, first of all, we need to start working. So let's go back to our tasks right here. And let's say that our best employee here, Boolean, is going to contact the vendors. Boolean here spent 1 hour contacting the different vendors. And if we go back to our dashboard, you will notice that we can see the cost right here of his timesheets. Great. So how does it work? Basically, it goes to the employee form and checks for its hourly cost, and then, of course, multiplies it by the number of worked hours. But now you might be wondering, okay, but what if my employees have different costs? Well, don't worry. If I go here to the checking pipe task, I can work and say that I checked all the pipes of the building. And it took me 10 hours. Great. I can save this, and I can go back right here to my dashboard to see how it influenced our costs. As you can see, the costs of our timesheets went up because, of course, we spent more time working on our project. And if I go right here, I can see the detail of all the time that was spent. And if I want to have even more detail about the costs, I can even change the view and go here to the pivot view, and then I will be able to see exactly how much each single employee has costed me in this project. But let's go back to our project, to our tasks right here. As you can see, we have some tasks that are external. What does that mean? That means that we actually subcontract some flows. How can I subcontract a flow and have it impact directly my project? Well, the answer is quite easy. Thanks to the new top bar right here, I can directly go to the purchase orders. It will open this magical menu. And once I open it, I have the list of all the purchase orders that are linked to my project. In this case, none. But we are going to create a new purchase order for electro boomers right here that will do all the wiring and proofing of the electrical net. And we can confirm the order and create a bill. Right here, we just insert a bill date, because otherwise it will not work. And we confirm our bill. Great. If we go back through the breadcrumbs right here, if we go back to our project, and we go to the dashboard, we will be able to see that there is now a new voice, a new line in our cost. And this new line, of course, is our purchase orders. Since we spent 15,000 euros to electro boomers, of course, it is going to be reflected right here. And what we can see is that it also impacted our budget, because now, as you can see, the total costs are of 15,580 euros, and that's exactly the difference between the 38,000 expected euros and the minus 35,000 euros that we have right now, which is basically the target that we need to achieve. Okay, that is great. Now that our subcontractor has worked there and that well, all the renovation has been done, we can now ship all the desks and chairs that our customers bought. In order to do that, we could either go to the sales order from here and then check the delivery, but it's a bit long. What I prefer to do is, once again, from my top bar, go directly either to the From Warehouse menu or the Stock Moves menu. What is the difference between the two? Our From Warehouse menu only shows the deliveries, the outgoing shipments, whereas the Stock Moves also shows the incoming shipments. So let's go to our From Warehouse menu right here, and as you can see, we can see our delivery. Let me click on it, and we can see that we have our office chair and our desks. Fortunately for us, everything is already available, so we just have to confirm the shipment. Let's validate this, confirm by SMS in this case, and go back. We can see that this has been done, and if I go back here to my delivery, in the additional info, I can see that it was linked to my analytic plan or to my project. Which means, of course, you guessed it, that if I go back to my project and to my profitability dashboard, I will be able to track the cost of my delivery. This is amazing because we were not able to do it before Odoo 18, but now basically every time that we send something to a customer, we are able to track its costs. So here, if I click on other costs, I will have two lines which are linked to the same shipment. And if I open one of them, I will see that it is the cost of my 25 office chairs. And if I go to the other one, I will see that it's the cost of my 10 large desks. Perfect. So now that we have seen this as well, we might think that, everything is done. The renovation has been done, the subcontracting has been done, the delivery has been done. What is left? Well, the invoicing. Let's go right here to our sale order and create an invoice. But of course, since we sell something that is per square meter, we need to update our quantities. In this case, we know that we worked more or less 100 square meters, so we can update our sale order and create the invoice. In this case, I am going to first create a down payment with a fixed amount of 10,000 euros right here, which I will confirm. And once this has been confirmed, of course, if I go back to my dashboard of profitability, you will see that it has already been impacted right here and that we already invoiced the untaxed amount of the down payment. So this is already great, but let's say that now everything has been invoiced. Let's finish this invoice. As you can see, everything is always linked to our analytic plan. We can confirm. And if we go back through the breadcrumbs to our project, and we go back once again to the dashboard, we will see that everything here has been moved to the invoiced column. And we can also see that the update that we made on our products, which was the fact that we put 100 square meters instead of one, also impacted the expected revenue. Because if we go back to our first project update, we can see that the expected revenue was only 500 because we only prepared to do 1 square meter, which was, of course, not going to be the case. So now that we have this, we can see that it also impacted our budget, because now we have a positive amount of 20,000 euros more than what we were expecting to gain, which is great. But unfortunately for us, our client called back, and something apparently went wrong with the delivery because one of the desks was broken. So what can we do about that? Well, what we are going to do is schedule an intervention. In order to do that, what I like to do is create a new task, desk change in this case, and change its project to field service. This way, it will show this little checkbox and also this little button right here, which will allow me to add products to my sales order. Here, Since we just delivered everything to our customer, of course, we are not going to make them pay for the new desks because it was probably our fault if they were broken. So we're just going to check this little box right here, and we are going to add a product from here, and we are going to add not one but two desks because we realized that the second one was also broken. As you can see right here, the total cost of our desk is €0 for our customer because it was under warranty, so of course we won't make them pay for it. We can now mark this as done, and if we go back to our project and to our dashboard, we will see here in the other costs that we have a new line. This new line, if we click on it, it's of course the two large desks that we just shipped to our customer. So the interventions of the field service are also totally integrated with our profitability. And of course, this is going to impact our budget as well. Great. Now we might think once again that everything is good because, we also repaired the desk. What else could be wrong? Actually, we totally forgot to ship them our branded pen because we really love to put a lot of branding everywhere we go. So we usually just ship to our customers 500 pens. In this case, we're going to create a new delivery directly from our From Warehouse button in the top bar. We're going to select the product that we want to ship and the quantity. We are going to validate the shipment and go back to our project and to our dashboard. Once again, this has impacted our other costs. And as we can see, we have one more line of €250, which is actually the cost of our pen. Sorry about this. Well, once this has been done, once again, we hope that everything is done, right? I mean, we have shipped the pen, we have repaired the desks, we have done everything. Well, yes and no, because actually, since we had to ship back more pens to our customers, we also had to spend more gasoline and more fuel to get there. And since our employee paid for it, we might as well expense it. You guessed it, we can also do that from our top bar. Right here, as you can see in the menu, we have the expenses button. And if I open it, it will show me a list of all ongoing expenses who are linked to our project, which of course for now is none at all. Here, I can decide if I want to upload a file directly or if I want to create a new one. I personally love to upload files, so I will just go here, select my invoice, and add it. As you can see, it is already linked to our project. And of course, since we didn't buy any credits, it wasn't read by the system, but it's also a possibility. You're then going to enter manually the quantities, so €91.17, as we can see right here. And we can, since it's the way the expense app works, we can create a new report that will have to be submitted to the manager, which we are going to do right now. And of course, our manager is super ready and he approves this right away. We can also pause the journal entries so that everything is done for this expense. Once again, through our breadcrumbs, we're going to go back to our project, open the dashboard menu. I swear it's one of the last time we do it, and we can see that there is a new line right here with the expenses. And isn't this wonderful? Now, I think we can say that we are finally done with everything that we needed to do for our project. So the only thing that is left to do is verify how I did in my project, in my budget, sorry. And in this case, we can see that we were expecting €20,000 of revenues, and we actually made €39,920, which is 200% more than what we expected. And isn't this great? Sorry about this. So basically, now we have seen how to manage our project profitability in Odoo. Let me go back to our presentation and do a little recap. So what did we learn exactly today? I would love you to ask you the question, but of course, I will not hear you, so I will tell it myself. We noticed that the project dashboard has been totally revamped, that there is a new top bar that simplifies everything, and that now, thanks to this thanks to this revamping of the new dashboard, we have an instant view on the profitability and on the budgeting. The budgeting also have been totally improved and is now fully integrated with all the new features that we have seen in our project profitability. And last but of course not least, as you might have noticed, the analytics have changed since everything is now linked directly to a project, but this suits us perfectly because then we are able to track everything that we need for our project profitability. That was it for me. I hope it was nice and that you learned a lot of stuff. I will now let you scan again the questions and I am ready to answer.
Thank you for the great presentation. Okay, the first question is, does every project have to be linked to a sale? Is it possible that projects are self-initiated and require an internal budget to carry out the project?
Yes, of course, we can do that. I will just not show it here, but if you want to see it later, you can go to the expertise booth. So of course we can create projects apart and work on them the same way. Yep. We can also actually link sales to a project afterwards through the sales order button in the top bar.
Okay. How can I add more models to the top bar? Can I remote purchase from the top bar?
I mean, we can move all the models of the top bar, and I think Barbara made a talk this morning about how to change the top bar. So you might as well directly go check that or ask the service expertise booth once again.
Is it possible to add by a spreadsheet a new specific line of the, this question it might be still be typed, sorry. What happens if you do the return on the delivery of the first desk? The cost of this third desk will remain on the project.
Yeah, so basically it of course computes the return by canceling the cost of the element that we return, and so if we ship a third desk, then it will take that cost into account. So of course if you work with different costing methods like FIFO or LIFO or other stuff, it will of course be taken into account.
All right. Will the cost of the product be put in the analytic account of the project even if we have a reception?
Well, no, it will not duplicate the cost. If you activate the analytic tracking of the costs on the deliveries and receptions, it will only take it into account once. So of course, if we buy the product and we receive it, the cost will not be put twice in the reporting.
Okay, makes sense. Why was the two products minus 500 if they were free?
I'm not sure to understand the question.
Yeah, so probably in your presentation there was a time where you removed two products.
Exactly. It's because their cost to us was of 500 euros, but they were free for the customer. So basically, if I give you this bottle of water, I will give it to you for free, but maybe it cost me €1. So that's the same logic.
Yep, all right. How about forecasting or burn down charts? How do we keep track if we are moving forward as we should, or are we out of budget at a certain point?
For that, I think it would be easier, again, to go to the service expertise directly to the booth in order to discuss it like in a better way than on this local database who doesn't have everything we need to show it.
Okay. How do you manage cost increase of the employee on a long-term project?
Well, actually, every time you submit timesheets, for example, if today I cost 30 euros per hour, that will be the cost that will be noted on that specific timesheet. But if tomorrow I cost more, it will be taken into account directly. So it's really like, as long as the costs are well placed at the moment of the timesheet, everything will be done automatically.
Is it possible to correct a PO made by mistake that has been computed in the profitability report?
Well, I didn't try it, but I would guess that if we cancel it, it just goes away from the profitability report. Maybe we can try it afterwards at the expertise booth or tomorrow, if you want to come by.
Does the impact... Oh, wait, no, let's do another one. How is the SO affected with those extra deliveries you made? How to invoice the extra deliveries?
Invoice the extra deliveries. Well,
Yep.
if we modify the SO and add new products with the price, it will automatically impact the project profitability as well. Um, I mean, if you have time to go check other talks, s- sooner today I did a talk about engineering to order, and there was also that feature in it. So if you just add stuff to a sales order, it will be computed in the project profitability. Same
All
for the
right.
invoices.
When creating a purchase order for a project, the bill generated from it is already linked to an analytic account. I can see the analytic account is again linked on the delivery order, so aren't we realizing the expense twice on the project dashboard?
No, we already kind of answered with one of the first questions that was very similar, but basically it will only compute it once. If there is both the cost at the delivery and the purchase or whatever, it will only compute it once. Same in case of manufacturing orders or stuff like that.
Can we now have projects created automatically on goods too, or only for services?
Uh, from what I know, it's still only services, but now we can also have combo products. And if I recall correctly, but we would need to test it. If you put a good and a service together in the combo, you can generate project with that as well.
Okay, so we have time for like one more question.
Yes.
Is timesheet visible as cost in budget position immediately or not until invoicing?
The timesheets are immediately put in the project report. Uh, Probably for the different kinds of invoicing possible for the timesheet, it might change, but in the costs, it's always visible. Yeah. It's
Okay,
more for the profitability that it will change.
I have a small one for you, and then I can go. Can you link two sales to one project?
Yes, sure. We just do it like if we create another sales order here, it will also be linked to our project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, I will just wait that they shut down the light.